Spoiler site is awesome.
Nice. My big discovery in that game was that you could hold the button down to pat the soil.
Just
going so slowly.
Wow. It was a hardcore 10 minutes of Viva Pinata for Tom.
That should be an achievement right
I
there.
don't know why they, and I don't know why they did that. I don't understand why you just don't start with soil. It made no sense to me.
Yeah.
It's just like this really boring beginning of the game.
Yeah. Really
But
slow start.
one of the dragon colors is only on cracked earth, so then you get screwed. Because you make all the soil, they're like, oh, I want the golden dragon.
Worst ones are when you start cracking out on the flutterscotch.
Oh, yeah, I did those.
It's
Those
like,
are,
yeah, I felt like Brando in Apocalypse Now, you know, I'm like, now I have to get this color. And it was like 4 hours later, Angela actually came in, she's like, just leave the butterfly, go do something else or whatever. I'm like, but look at the book, I need.
It sort of starts with Viva Pinata, which I think is a really interesting jumping off point, because the fear is that the game that you guys have all worked so hard on, World of Warcraft, is a game that makes you a gaming monogamous. So what else are you guys playing right now in addition to World of Warcraft?
I'm playing Guitar Hero 2 right now. I just finished Rainbow Six Vegas, was another recent game I played. Gears of War.
I finished Crackdown, really enjoyed that. It wasn't very deep, but it was pretty exciting. Guitar Hero 2, same thing.
I just finished God of War 2. I'm almost done with Zelda Twilight Princess. Played a ton of Viva Pinata when that was out. I'm getting ready to play Guitar Hero 2, but I'm holding off. Also, I've been downloading some stuff on Steam, so I've been playing a new PopCap game, Peggle.
Been playing a little bit of God of War 2, been playing some DS games like Mario on the DS. Been enjoying that a lot. Gotten a chance to play a little bit of Viva Pinata, so all games that I enjoy quite a bit. I also come back to Civ 4 a lot. Been really hardcore in Civ 4.
I just got an Xbox 360, so I'm kind of playing a lot of games on that right now. I do the dumbest things for achievements. The first thing I do with the game is research what to do, and Guitar Hero 2 I was stressing out because you had to get this achievement for saying no to playing an encore. But then I didn't know if that meant that I couldn't go back and play the encore because I also, wanted to play the encore. So, yeah, I'm an achievement whore.
Someone like Brian Intihar, who's one of the previews editors at EGM, or Shane Bettenhausen, who's the executive editor, they're like, we want to play WoW, but we're just afraid we won't have time for anything else then. But I mean, that's not the case.
Well, I think of WoW as sure that it's a game that never ends, and we're kind of conditioned that games are going to end. So people like kind of get in that mode where I just want to finish, want to keep on playing. But I think MMOs are a little more like, I don't know, like the internet. But it's something, if you do a little more casually, you have time to do other things also.
I don't need to play WoW all the time. It's actually it's going to be there tomorrow. It's going to be there hopefully for a very long time. So I've gone on and played some other games too and try to manage that time. I'm there for our raid nights or for our lunchtime runs and things like that.
Lunchtime runs?
Oh yeah?
Yeah.
We do our quick lunchtime runs. We get together on Mondays right before our lead meeting, and we do like some Coilfang instance or some Akandun instance. We try to get it done in an hour. Yeah.
I'll come in like at the end of lunch, like, hey Shane, how's the schedule looking for whatever? And then he'll, turn around and answer me real professionally, and then I'll realize their whole group just wiped out because he's playing the priest. Yeah, you gotta heal him.
You guys wipe, you make the game. Shouldn't you just be able to cruise through everything? You know what everything does.
We could do whatever we want. I could spawn 100 Onyxias, and kill them all in one shot, but it's not fun. That's not the game at that point. There's nothing like just, playing legitimately, seeing how things actually go. That's where the real fun is for us.
Now, so you're rating. What are you rating right now? What are you working on in the game?
I've been doing a lot of Karazhan lately. Not the most uber and epic thing in the game, but we have a little anonymous guild. When I started playing WoW, we decided to go anonymous, just underground. No one knew who we were, and we've been having a blast in Karazhan. That's what we're doing right now.
Obviously, then when you're playing that, you have sort of these live guinea pigs that you're playing with, right?
And I just like to, I ask questions all the time. Nobody knows who I am or what I do, and I'll just ask, did you see the patch notes? What do you think of this class? What do you think of that class? What do you think of that item that just dropped? And they just think I'm like an inquisitive dumbass mostly, but really I'm just sitting there, computing all of it. And me and this guy got into a pickup UBRS group, and then just having to get the encounters explained to us. And it was mostly a guild group who just decided to take us to fill in the last couple slots. And they treated us like such morons, and it was just so funny. They're explaining how every little aspect of the fight works. So-and-so, have you ever done Drac before? Well, let me tell you how it works. And they're making up all these mechanics that we know don't exist in the game whatsoever. But yeah, Nixia's deep breath, and we just followed like sheep,
Yeah, what is... Has it ever actually been explained what exactly triggers a deep breath?
It's totally random, and then one patch it actually bugged out. It's not that it bugged, but a bug got fixed related to it, which made it happen more frequently. So it became this rumor that Onyxia was deep breathing more, which it was totally a rumor, it was totally random. And then all of a sudden one patch, after it had even become kind of this legendary joke, it actually got fixed and was actually deep breathing more. And then we had to stop it.
But the control mechanic was still random. It had nothing to do with players being clumped up or spread out or anything like that.
To continue talking about the player base, I guess, part of the reason with, I guess, the Chromagus encounter is a good jumping off point, because you could do Chromagus in the doorway, but like the first videos that would come out would have Chromagus run down to the ramp, and then people would duck the ramp and then like hug that ledge up top to avoid line of sight. You had to tank them a certain way, and then you have your other tanks, run in, and this was all because of these videos that surfaced. Like, do you guys watch these videos? But
not only do we watch the videos, but we watch the guild's rating. We can watch real time as they're doing it, and we often do that to make sure everything's working.
We call it WoW TV.
Yeah, WoW TV. Put it up on a second screen. Actually, the earliest Chromagus fights weren't even taking place in either of those spots you mentioned, because of the magical, this is a spot where we line of sight killed something factor that takes place. Guilds were doing these tremendous hunter pulls all the way to the Fire Moth spot, right where Broodlord guards that area. And it was a tremendous pain for them. It would take 10, 15 minutes to get the pull right and get get Chromagus all the way to that spot. And then they soon discovered, the doorway, the ramp, all these other things. So yeah, we definitely watch. We pay attention to everything.
To step away from World of Warcraft for a second and talk about some of the places where you guys have come from. And you two, on either side of me, were big EQ guys. And you guys played together way back when in a guild called Legacy of Steel.
There's a lot about EQ that was truly brilliant, and I think it's one of the greatest games of all time. I would put it in my top 3 games of all time. And there was a lot of EverQuest that was just fun in spite of itself and would never work in today, in today's gaming scene. You just couldn't get away with some of the stuff that the game does. But and there's a tremendous amount of nostalgia behind that game. But it was this golden period, and you got to know who everybody was because it was a much smaller community. It was very competitive. They didn't have the idea of instancing, so you were competing for spawns, and I don't think WoW players can really relate to that. Imagine there's only one Onyxia up on the server, and when Tuesday the patch happens, there's one Onyxia, and the first guild to get to her and to kill it gets the loot. We were talking about the movies earlier. You would never make a movie back in the EQ days and show yourself fighting a dragon because you didn't want to give the strat out. Not only did you want to keep the dragon dead so nobody even got a try on it, and you would keep it dead every week even if you didn't want the loot, just so the guy behind you couldn't power up his guild enough to get there.
Because like in EQ, it was a really big deal of who found the loot first. So you'd see all the sites like Equalizer, the equivalent of Thoughtbot now, but people would always put their guild tag, on the different loot, and it was a really big deal who got the first kills. But yeah, like as far as strats go, really quiet. On any given server, there's almost always a clear-cut #1 guild. And once you're that #1 guild, unless your guild falls apart, it pretty easy to stay there, for some of the reasons Jeff would mention. You'd not only be doing it first, but it snowballs because your guild's getting more powerful and the content's getting easier, and you're even faster at it, so the guilds behind you just are never getting opportunities.
Does anyone have a guess as to